called The Curious Case of Python's Context Manager. Redouan Deloire posted this. And I was, I've read a lot of, I went through this because context managers are really important. And when you start really making some elegant, really readable code, it's good to make use of context managers. And really, if you're not familiar with what they are, anytime you see a with, like a with open file as f or something like that, that's a use of a context manager. And the file one is probably the most notable one. So when you leave, what it does is it hooks up the the keeping track of the data so that when you exit the block, it can clean up after itself. And so really handy things. I've seen a lot of different tutorials on how to write them. And a lot of them also, they go through the class. So in general, the punchline is use the context manager, context manager decorator, and use a yield statement in the middle, and that will help you out. And that's really the working way to do it. But if you want to write, you write a class-based one with the dunder init, dunder enter, dunder exit. I think those are good examples. One of the things I liked about this tutorial is that it went through that, and it didn't seem artificial. It's like this isn't one way to do it, but it went through it pretty quickly and went through some other stuff, and it's a pretty quick tutorial. But then gets into some really fun stuff that I really appreciated, like context managers as decorators and writing your own, and then create so that you're not using a decorator to make a context manager. You're actually creating a decorator that is a context manager. It's a pretty interesting thing. And then wrapping things and nesting context managers with within one with block or with statement.
Yeah, that's cool to have like three of them instead of just one, and rather than like having three with blocks, right? Yeah.
And I've just nested the with blocks, but you don't have to do that. You can have them all on one line, which is cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool little tips here.
And then combining them, so like creating a context manager that's really a combination of two other context managers or more than one, which is nice. And then you kind of get into this, right? And you think, well, what am I going to do with this? Well, where would I use it? And so there's three examples that he lists and shows. There's context managers with a SQL alchemy session, which is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So he shows how to.
I love this one. Yeah.
Yeah, how to use rollback and sessions so that when you're testing and stuff, you can just automatically undo the thing that was in the block. Sweet idea. Using it for exception handling so that you can, and that in combination with using it as a decorator is a neat idea to have a policy for how to deal with certain exceptions during parts of your code, and then just decorate those functions with exception handling. That's pretty cool. And then the last one was talking about persistent parameters across HTTP requests. So it goes from very gentle to really deep into using this pretty quick, but it's really easy to read.
Yeah. Well, I realize reading through this that I've not been using the decorator style nearly enough. I'm always like, I'll just add a class with an enter exit type of thing. But yeah, the context managers, just get a function and do yield. It's pretty clean.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of PyTest fixtures. So
yep. Thank you for watching this segment of the Python Bytes podcast. This video was made during the recording of the full episode. Visit pythonbytes.fm and get the whole story. Subscribe to the podcast and get the entire episode delivered to your phone. Please support our work by taking one of the courses at pythonbytes.fm/courses or learning PyTest with Brian's book at pythonbytes.fm/PyTest. Finally, visit our sponsor shown on the screen here. Visit the link on the screen and get the special offer for Python Bytes and YouTube listeners. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.